people talk about Jezebel and they call her all sorts of names and everything, biblically speaking. But it's kind of funny, people cannot recognize things when it comes to manipulation and control of mind, hearts, and souls, when people in industries and systems are literally bringing people away from God. That's what it means. It's called seducing with words, the seduction. Jezebel, the person herself back then, it wasn't about sex. It wasn't about no makeup. It wasn't about all these things. She was using her words to seduce people, to bring them away from God. That's what she did. That's what's going on now. That's why in Revelation it talks about like Jezebel. It's talking about the spirit of, meaning, and I'm going to say this because there's a lot of religious folks don't understand. And I'm going to go into details about this. The spirit of, I don't care if it's Ahab, Jezebel, Leviathan, anything, okay? Anything. It's not talking about the person itself because it's not their spirit, just like Jezebel. The spirit that was within her because of her idolatry, her dedication to her gods, okay? The spirit that was within her will cause her to do things that her herself would not be of naturally to do. So that's why it's called her spirit, because she had a murderous spirit and all these things. Jezebel herself, even back then, she was a woman of power. She knew who and what she was. So she exerted her authority. It wasn't about control about her. Ahab, on the other hand, it was about control. He manipulated things. If you go back and read text, it talked every time something happened, Ahab would run back to Jezebel and tell her what had happened. Because why? Ahab did not know who he was. Go and look in text where it says, "Do you not know that you are king?" When he ran to her, talking about Naboth in his vineyard, he had no clue who he was, so he knew he can go and pout to Jezebel, and Jezebel would get it done. She would call her priest, and they were fast and do all these things and make false accounts towards people to cause people to kill these very people and take what it is. Jezebel herself did not take, she did not want what other, she did it because her husband, who did not know who he was, asked her to. See, all this stuff that you see that's going on, a lot of people talk about Jezebel and Ahab, it's been recycled bull. That's what it is. Jezebel is just not the spirit that was in her. It's just not running around in regular people. It's a person of power. She was a person of power and influence. So was Ahab. But Ahab did not know who he was. Jezebel, the spirit of Jezebel literally goes around seducing people, not sexually, but seducing them with her words to bring them out of the presence of God into her bondage, into her religion, into her bull crap. I'm being nice. Into her systems of bondage. That's what it is. Into her belief systems. Into everything that it is concerning her and her father's kingdom and her ways. That's what she do. She captures the mind and souls of people to bring them from the hearts and minds of God to her. So that's why when God would send prophets to rise up against this system that was in place by Jezebel, because she knew who she was, she would kill the prophets of God or go after them. That's happening today. And I'm talking about true prophets of God. I'm not talking about fake people. They will use their power and influence to try to subdue in submission people who are truthfully speaking about things, about their systems and about the things that they're doing of corruption. So God will send his prophets and his people into the world to speak the words of him, to bring them out of captivity with Egypt into the promised land, back to him. Out of the hearts, minds, and souls from the enemy, because the enemy has literally captured them, their mind, their body, their soul, their spirit, everything. So they're doing the things that these people in institutes are doing when God never told them to do that. They started doing it. They start listening to the words of these false gods and start doing the very things that they were doing, the sacrificing, the doing this, the doing that, the wearing the things and all this kind of stuff, where they no longer look like people of God. So God will send out his prophets to tell them to come out of that thing, to come out of that system, to come out of that, because that's not his spirit. That is a false spirit. And if you stay in it, you will die. It's not only with Jezebel, it's throughout the Bible. Just because you don't recognize a thing does not mean it's not real.